Hello, my name's Mooey Oink, writer of heavy crime fiction. Today is a bit of a different day for me. I've had a first here at Board Deck and Dice, and that is I have had the privilege of not only being involved in a playtest, but in a playtest with the actual creator of the game that we were testing, or the expansion to the game that we were testing. One of the things I backed on Kickstarter last year was Ember. I noticed that the creator of Ember, Mr. Guat Starside, lived in North Yorkshire, the same as me, and I messaged him and it turned out we lived in the same town. Fancy that. So recently, with the expansion going on Kickstarter, I believe this week, it might already be up, so go check. I'll put a link in the description. The expansion to Ember from the Ashes is gives the game some more choices, some more end game powers, which can really mess with the scoring. And I had a chance to not only play test it with Guat, but also go to the printers, pick up his playtest copies, have a look at that whole process, see him cut out a deck of cards quicker than I've seen my son eat a lamb chicken tikka. A lamb chicken tikka? A chicken tikka masala. Not, we don't mix lamb and chicken in our curries, just in case you're worried. So, it's an expansion to the base game. Ember is a game that comes with a 52 card deck of cards 1 to 13, and they all are fantastically illustrated. They really stand out, the illustrations on these cards. So you're using those cards to conjure other cards which are on the table, and they have your victory points on, and they have powers. They go in front of you, but you can flip them to use powers on the card. You can flip other people's, and when someone thinks they've reached the agreed victory point limit, we played to 30 every time, and that's the long game. It didn't really take that long. We got 4 games in, probably just over an hour, maybe less, and we were really kind of analysing and trying to play different strategies. So yeah, we played 30 points. You can play to 15 if you just want a short game, but the key thing is when someone thinks they've got that amount of points in front of them from their victory point that clearly on the card and any modifiers they may have, they call it. And when they call it, everyone stops and you count up everyone's victory points to see if they are indeed the winner. Now, as I was playing with the creator of the game, I tried to play a little cautiously and didn't call as early as I might have if I was risking it for a biscuit, so to speak. But despite this, I won all 4 games by quite some margin. In my last game, where I required only 60 victory points to win, I finished with, did I say 60? Sorry, I've given the game away. Punchline before the joke. Where I required 30 victory points to win, I finished with a huge 61. Guat, you've got to work on your own game, mate. Which you are doing right now. So, what does the expansion add? The expansion adds at the moment, and this might all change, but it adds 3 negative victory point cards that you can buy and play in your opponent. But if you conjure them with your hand and they're in front of your opponent can conjure them, reconjure them and put them back to you. The expansion adds tutor wizards, which you can get for 4 cards and an Archmage card. The Archmage card is kind of a wild card, and they're generally pretty powerful and have a good victory point on them, and a quest which is generally a modifier on your victory points that you get at the end. So getting 1 or 2 of those is quite powerful. Artifact, which I didn't manage to conjure in 4 games, but Guat did, and then it has 2 3-card creatures. I can't remember the name. Ancient Elementals, I think. So literally the picture goes across 3 cards and you can conjure any bit of it and it gradually becomes more powerful. And what was really interesting for me as someone who has ideas for board games but hasn't really prototyped anything yet was just watching Stuart change little things to make, because at the first 2 games we couldn't conjure any of those because they were just too hard to conjure. and it was really interesting watching how Stuart kind of adapted rules and changed rules to make the game work more quickly. And obviously he's quite experienced at this. This isn't his first rodeo, as they say. So that was really cool seeing that and being a part of that and making suggestions. So yeah, it was a really good time. I backed Ember. I think it's a great game. I haven't reviewed it yet. I'm looking to review it soon. I think the expansion adds more choices. There's a little cheat sheet card you can print out, which is really helpful as well for just working out what you can actually buy when you've got your hand. And just the victory point modifiers that the expansion has more of. There are some in the base game, but the expansion has more of them. Really add to that kind of nervousness of, do I call it because he's got a card that deprives me of 5 victory points, and have I got enough not only to reach the 30 but to combat whatever the other person or the people have that will affect that. So it's really promising expansion that I recommend. If you've got the base game, you definitely look out for it on Kickstarter. Again, there's a link on the bottom there. And I'd love to hear your stories of playtesting in the comments. Thank you very much. I've been Oinky Moo, writer of heavy crime thrillers.